Peace, peace, happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future, not going too far in the past. Right now, the aspect of, sharing our different insights, it's kind of like a group of scientists, like indirectly, without even trying, which now we're starting to come together, a lot of us collaborating on videos and stuff like that. But like a lot of us who, have YouTube channels, especially those of us who's not, speaking on things from a traditional sense all the time, that's kind of coming up with our own unique downloads that may have never been heard before, but it's like scientists and being able to not necessarily compare notes like comparison in that type of sense, but more so building, in that type of way. But like, say for instance, like with the man who knew infinity, somewhat as example, in the sense of like, a group of scientists, I might come up with a formula, and again, like the importance of expressing our theories and our downloads, you know what I'm saying? Even if it may be like a quote unquote, an unfinished theory, again, like how Nikola Tesla may have expressed some things, that in essence he didn't have like a provable, tangible aspect to prove every theory, that he may have brought up. But just by bringing it up, that, kind of sparks something in the mind, kind of like that, that Tupac vibe too, like if I don't change the world, I'll be the person who sparked the mind that does, but the importance again of like sharing and not being scared, of like what somebody else thinks, I saw myself on my growth, again, like feeling like how can I say, like dealing with authority figures and not saying something because or Bobby Hemmett might, probably wouldn't agree with that, or so-and-so probably wouldn't agree with that, and I have to catch myself like, like, no, it ain't about, because even somebody like a Bobby Hemmett would speak on like, like expressing, your own little inner downloads and insights, and again, and knowing that shit, whatever you resonate with is your magic, you know what I'm saying? But again, dealing with the information aspect, like it helps for us to build, because if I'm working or catching some insight, like how I brought up that say for instance, a good example, how I did the video about whether it's the one where I spoke on how LA is a third eye ley line, or first eye ley line, however you want to say it, LA being on the first eye ley line, or I did a video about how malachite is, transforming shit that ain't, in books and stuff like that. And then I catch that type of download, and then somebody come across that video, and it's like, oh shit, like, like what I'm speaking on may be like the sugar to their Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? Like on some real shit, you know what I'm saying? That like the person, like say for instance, like the hamburger being created by two different people, in the sense of like one person like, bro, I want to put this piece of meat in between something. You know what I'm saying? I want to put this piece of meat in between something, man, but I don't know what. And this other person over here like making sandwiches, before it was called sandwiches, but like taking bread and smacking it on, on the side of like all kind of other little foods and stuff. And then they both came across each other idea, and I was like, bro, how about you put, that meat in between these breads, you know what I'm saying, and make a hamburger. But it's from, again, like expanding on a certain like little theory of insight that, that comes to us, in our unique experience. But I'm just bringing this up as an aspect and a reminder to remember, don't be afraid to share your downloads, to share certain information, to share what you're going through, because again, I looking at myself, why sometimes as of late I've been falling back, because I've been dealing with this energy of like being rigid about like rigid about my accountability of expressing myself to the point where I had to catch myself like, all right, now I'm not expressing my downloads off of some, oh, hold on, I gotta sit with it for two, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I wanna, digest my downloads, before expressing them in some cases. But then a lot of cases, I'm guided to just express it, Because again, also with the understanding that everybody, I say it till I'm blue in the face, like take what resonate, leave what don't. Hey, I'm not your guru. I'm not, like everything that comes out of my mouth is not for you to go, jump off a bridge off of it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, expressing myself without caring, like, oh, what if a person, like, nah. Like, long as I'm not deliberately saying some shit to confuse you, then I'm, that's how it aligns for me. But again, just getting to that aspect of realizing, like, we build off each other like that, Like, one scientist will have a theory about, like, hey, it came to me in a dream, do some of my research that this, that, and the other happened. And then, a scientist way across the world, like, oh shit, I was working with some other shit, but what you was working with seemed like it may be the missing link to my research. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's the whole aspect of us, again, building on these different aspects, and why a lot of us do like to, connect with people where we could nerd out on some of these metaphysical aspects, because again, one of us might have the peanut butter to the other one jelly. You know what I'm saying? One person might have the sugar to the other person's Kool-Aid, But if we being scared, and that's when it goes back to just like, fuck, again, fear exists for a reason. But again, not to the point where we're succumbing to it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll pop up, but then it's there for us to, again, like, fear also creates the aspect of being courageous and passing through that fear, So, not saying fear is something like, again, no good, bad, right, or wrong, but what I am saying is, like, to be courageous towards, sharing these different insights and not being fearful or worried about what somebody else think, or worried about what a master teacher might think, or this and that, because another thing too was coming up a lot. Shout out to Pusha T. I think about in his little verse on Alone in Vegas, he was like, you gotta be better than the ones that precede you. Like, growth, basically, it's like, in so many words, like, growth don't come from following the leader. You gotta be colder than the ones who precede you. Ugh. It's little but like, that's what's going on right now too. And again, like, that food card, like that Forrest Gump shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, really going through it and not just doing everything off of the whim of, like, this is what the ancestors did and doing it to the T of how they did it. It's like, a lot of things is for us to, like, with some insight from ancestors, some of it is meant for us to use exactly how it was done, and then some of it is meant for us to see, like, all right, it could be done better, like, again, like, I'll do things that I know, like, some of it is gonna be insight, it's for people to use, and then some of the things I do is also insight, but in the aspect of, hey, but I'm not gonna do that because I saw Universal struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? I saw the ancestors struggle with this energy, so this not for me. Even though it's preached for me to do this, seemed like they were struggling with that. So I'm gonna find a new way to, deal with that. But again, like, we're expanding and we're building, you know what I'm saying? And it's not about just doing the same thing as, the ones before us. Yeah. Oh, I'm good for right now, bro. Appreciate you. But yeah, man, it's, again, it don't come from just following the leader. You gotta be better than the ones who precede you. And when we say better, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm better or this and that, not in the ego form of it. Again, or should I say again, like, constantly finding ways to be just as great as the ones who preceded us, but not from an ego standpoint of thinking we're better than them, you know. But that's the whole aspect, and again, like bringing our sciences together, like connecting like Voltron and bringing all these different aspects, you know, and not being afraid to, express them because it has some importance. Man, like no matter how outlandish it may seem, you know, and again, for whatever is worth, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Are we doing things in alignment with the Aquarius energy, or is the Aquarius energy affecting us? Again, everything starts inward, goes outward. So like our inner energies is connecting again, because think about it, like the Aquarius sign and this sign, these are just symbols that were made for us to digest this information a little more, to make this information a little more digestible. We're going to call the eccentric humanitarian and this and that energy Aquarius, and we're going to make it this zodiac sign, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's more so just an energetic expression, and that's what we're dealing with, again, like bringing on that information and insight, and that, that eccentric vibe, that unconventional vibe is going to be coming up a lot for a lot of us, but embrace it, don't be scared, because I always have to remind myself of like that's why I'm at where I'm at now, is for like not just being the norm of like, oh, let me just do this. Like, no, I'm sitting down there like meditating on the as above so below universal law of correspondence, just meditating on it, coming up with my own insights and sharing, and I had moments where, sometimes it felt like, damn, man, I just feel like I'm just being outlandish, and like making sure I'm checking down to see, like, am I just doing this shit to just be different, or is this real, real genuine, so dealing with those energies. But just trust, and it's okay to make mistakes, and when we constantly embrace that aspect too, like it's all right to make mistakes, especially when you're not in your ego, because you make a mistake. Hey y'all, I made a mistake. Hey y'all, I was tripping on the 5G thing, and now I realized to not trip on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if I'm holding on to it, like, oh man, I'm gonna have a lump in my throat and won't be able to, express that, hey, I made this mistake in my growth, because that's, that comes with the growth. It's going through this, but again, that energy is definitely popping up a lot. It's just tapping in, not being afraid to express what you're getting from your own little inner insights, and being able to express them, and again, like express them as, as quote unquote theory. It's different when you catching these little downloads and you're not digesting them, and you're expressing them as if, oh, this is the end all be all and everybody should follow this download I just caught. Like, hey, no, this is a download I just had. I'm expressing it. It is what it is. Take what resonates, leave what don't. But this is what came to me in my meditation. But that's basically it, y'all. Y'all already know. Just be courageous about it. Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrative course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past.